Yo, ready.
What's going on, man?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Good, good. How are you?
Good, man. Can't complain.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate you taking the time.
Yeah, just chilling outside.
Yeah, man.
Love it.
I just got a park, right by where I work, so I just headed there.
Nice.
And that
Sweet.
sunlight, right?
Yes, sir.
That free energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. First thing I wanted to say, bro, is congrats on the new spot, bro. I remember you posting it like a while back. Like I'm just renting it and just manifesting it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, a while back, I just went to. Basically, that one was a hotel. Like I went there for
Okay.
like 2 days. It was a place where I had gone to college, and
Okay.
like in college, I would drive by and be like, I want to stay. I
Okay.
want to stay there at some point. So yeah, I went and visited that, and then this is like I'm
There's a
renting.
similar vibe for sure.
Yeah, exactly. I like the. I don't. I like being up top and be able to like see,
Yeah,
just like the view of it.
plotting.
I'm like, huh?
Just plotting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just like for me,
I
it was funny because when I went to that hotel the first time, I like immediately got up and like looked out and I just felt like calm. I was like, I
there's something
like,
about a yeah. I think there's
huh?
something about a view,
Mm-hmm.
something primal about that. Just being able to see an entire landscape.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Sweet
Cool,
dude. So
man.
yeah, we can
Yeah.
we can kind of jump into or dive into whatever you want to talk about here.
Yeah, for sure. I guess the first question is a pretty broad question, but like what is your goal in your training and purpose? Or goal more so, yeah.
Yeah. So like specifically for myself.
Sure, like from what I see is just like I guess trying to surpass a genetic potential, right? Or if there is one,
Yeah,
just
I mean, so like
continuously evolving.
the way that I think about training is like, for me, it's a way to learn how I learn how I respond to stimulus coming in, and then like adjust or practice the way that I want to respond to that stimulus coming in. So specifically, what that would be right now is like if I have this vision of the future that I have this vision of the future for myself, right? There's like pictures that are associated with that, and then there's also feelings that are associated with that. So what I want to do is
Hmm.
I want to get that picture, and then I want to have the feeling, and I want to actually feel that feeling in the moment while I'm training, separate from the actual picture itself. So I have that feeling of whatever that is for myself in the training, and my intention is to hold that feeling or keep that feeling or be that way in the training, even as I'm asking myself to handle and process a shit ton of stimulus, heavy bench,
Okay.
impulses, joint moves, like whatever it is, right? I want that
So
feeling to stay there as I'm putting in as much stimulus as possible.
okay. So does this intention and feeling does it vary? Does it depend, or how do you determine like what it is?
So I mean, it flows for me, right? So it's like whatever it is on the given day, it's going to be. I mean, like for me, it's associated with okay, like family, business, finances, uh, like the people that I'm able to help, and I don't even the people that I'm able to help just as a side effect of like me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So for me, I have that vision of what that is, right? And I have a feeling of that. Like literally when I'm at the end, whatever an end is, right? I'm at the end and I look back, I'm like, or there's some point where I'm like, I did that, right? It's that feeling.
The feeling that it's already done?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like the feeling that it
Okay.
is completed or the moment that it gets completed.
Okay.
Because then like what can happen then is if there's the understanding of what that and there's like if there's the understanding of what that future is, then from where I'm at now, I can then like correct ahead of time to keep me on that path,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
And it can also like for athletes or for people that are training, like it can also include what is it that you want to do in your sport, what is it that you want, how is it that you want your body to feel, like what is it that you want to be able to do physically, and what does it actually feel like to do that,
Okay.
and it's like that feeling, and then that feeling, having that feeling in the training independent of the actual outcome helps to pull that outcome towards you, like you pull it in towards you.
Is it the feeling of doing it or the feeling of having done it?
For me, it's the feeling of having done it.
Okay.
That is the feeling that I'm attempting to keep.
Right.
And then there's, 315 on a rebound bench that's attempting to not, not keep it there. Right. So,
Yeah.
it's that. And what I found is that my body will adapt or respond very differently when I have that intent of that feeling versus when I have the intent of like just train really hard. Because there's a period of time where I had that intent of just like train really hard, and my body and myself did start to get to the point where I felt like beat down. Like my body didn't feel as good. And at the end of sessions, I'd actually be like tired and fatigued. When I kind of remembered that, I was like, okay, no, it's actually about this, like this feeling and being able to like maintain that feeling. Then I can still train as hard, but it's like my body I actually start to feel better and be better the longer and more that I do. It's like my body craves that versus it doesn't crave when I'm just beating myself down through what I'm doing.
And the switch is like mental, what you're saying?
What switch?
The switch from feeling beat, like you're saying sometimes you would feel beat down after a session, whereas when you made that
My intent was different.
Your intent was different. The exercise could be the exact same, but the intention is different.
Yeah, like if I'm going into a rebound bench every day with the intent of like being angry and being pissed off and like with that type of energy, right? At some point, that is like a lower frequency of whatever like that's a lower level of energy that has a different impact on your actual body and tissues, etc. It's like a different level of beingness, right? And your body's not, or the body is not going to respond. It's going to respond differently to that versus if it's not necessarily in that band but it's higher up, then your body's going to respond differently to that. And this is stuff that maybe like a lot of people would be like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, just go train. And yeah, like we can start with just go train, but eventually for me, like I've been training for 15 years. And so once I've been training for that long, it's like there's deeper layers, deeper layers. And that is the whole reason that I train. Is I want to figure out like my entire thing for training is basically, if I look at it in whatever we would consider like an optimum human being, like in terms of athletes and sports, it's like the best athlete that I've ever played. They're that way because of the way they are, their beingness. So it's like, what is that? How do we like actually quantify that and teach that, right? And so that's a lot of where I've been going is that, because it makes logical sense to me.
No, I like it. I see you've been playing with this concepts, I think, a lot more recently, sort of like not feeling anything, right? Like I saw you doing it with Nordics, repping out Nordics, seeing how you could not feel anything with doing that. Or I don't know if you could like, is that similar to what you're talking about now?
Yes. So it's okay. So for me, this is the way that I interpret it: is when we receive feedback from our body, it means that there's something that we need to pay attention to, or it's something that has been stressed to a level where it requires our attention. So like, let's say I'm making a cut in my knee, I get a sprain in my knee. I'm going to feel that, I'm going to get that feeling in my knee that gets sent up to me, and I'm going to have that sensation. If I don't have any sensation there, that means that there's nothing wrong with it and it's fine, it's good to go. So when it's like feel nothing, if our body's operating optimally, then we should, in a perfect world, feel nothing, because there's nothing that is in our body that it requires our attention, right? And so that's the whole reason, is like I want to be able to execute or do whatever it is that I'm doing without getting any feedback from my body, because that means I am doing it in a way which my body is designed to do it. And I want to be able to do that with very high levels of stimulus, because what this can turn into is like, okay, I'm going to do bodyweight squats, and I'm going to attempt to not feel anything. And maybe that can 100% be something that we need to start with, potentially, of like, okay, can you actually understand how to use your hamstrings, how to use your quads, how to use your hip flexors, how to use your glutes, like how to use all of that? Can you understand how to use that? But at some point, if we want to prepare ourselves for life or for sport, it has to be elevated, because sport is intense. Like, it's high intensity plus high volume. It's both of those things together, and that's where injuries happen. And so the intent of just like having that feeling of whatever that future thing is for yourself be greater than any sensation that you're getting. The goal with that is to be able to recover, like the way that another way that I think about it is like recover as you work, be able to
Yeah,
keep going
I
and
like
keep
that
going
saying
and
a
keep
lot.
going,
Yeah.
right? Because you're simply operating the way that you're designed to operate.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, there's actual like physiological things that go along with that, but that's the general concept of it.
Oh, okay. So like applying that to, for example, I like utilizing isometrics a lot. I think you're a fan too. Like applying that to a split lunge, right? Are you trying to feel nothing? Or are you trying to feel the muscles fire in like a certain sequence?
No, I mean, I'm trying to feel nothing, but I also I don't think about doing them as ISOs necessarily either. Like I'm not trying to
Slow
stay.
lowers.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, exactly. Because a slow lower should actually be continually moving, right?
Mm,
A true ISO is there's nothing moving. Like the muscle itself acting on the joint would be staying in the exact same position. It's not shortening, it's not lengthening, it's just there.
right.
Right. So for me, it's not, and I got this full credit. I got this from Jay Schroeder. Like he helped
Mm-hmm.
me to understand this. And I don't even know if I understand the way that he does this. Is just my interpretation of that. Right.
Right.
But it's that it's not an isometric, it's a continually like shortening of one muscle, lengthening of another muscle into a deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper position. And there's not really ever any end to that position because there's always a little bit more that you can.
Right. Unless
And,
like there's no more room for the knee to go or something like that.
yeah, but even if like the joint itself is locked out, there's probably some deeper level of muscle tissue that you could recruit a little bit from to be able to pull a little bit more. Like there is
Yeah,
always something more to pull out of.
I see. And the intention of that is always to like explode up out of it, or
Um,
close to
yeah, I mean,
failure.
if we're talking about slow lowers, yes, right?
Okay.
Because uh, for me, the pressing back up out of it is the indicator that you've properly pulled yourself into position in terms of the actual physiological aspects of it. Like, let's say we're saying a lunge. If you have used the correct musculature to pull yourself down to position, you should be able to explode back up out of that as if you didn't just do it because the musculature that would probably propel you back up are fully lengthened and recovered.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for yourself, do you only do slow lowers,
No, I mean,
or do you
no, like my training page or
no?
the Instagram page shows like a lot of what I do, right? So
Yeah.
there's slow lowers, there's joint moves, there's impulses, there's rebound reps, there's hyper work, sprints, jumps, throws, like depth drops, a whole variety of things. But it's because it all plays into the same thing, into the same concept that we opened with, which is like
Right.
that feeling, that sensation at the start of what is that thing, and then become that thing or be that thing as you do the actual physical actions.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I don't know how like deep we want to get into it, right? But it's
No, you go ahead.
like an individual, we could say that we have your body here, and then we have the individual here, and the individual is what is like animating the body that is causing it to do what it's doing.
Right.
Right. Like
The soul. Yeah.
sure, whatever we want to call that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
But for me, like that is the thing that I want to train. Not like because it is what causes this body to move, change, and to adapt. And so it's like,
Mm-hmm.
what is that thing? What can I tap into for that thing? Or like, what depth can I go to for that thing to be able to just like fucking, I don't know, like explode in terms of what physically shows.
I like it. That's the intent. That's essentially the intention, right?
Yes, for me, it's to
Yeah.
train that thing.
Okay. Cool. So yeah, like you said, obviously your page, you have a lot of novelty. It's like almost every day you might have created a new movement, but also like the principles are pretty consistent. So um like why are you always introducing new, like what do you think? Like should you have certain things that you're constantly doing? So you said joint moves, ISO, slow lowers, rebound reps, sprints, like is it about integrating them all into a training system? Is it being able to do one thing that feeds into everything, or like how, like what is the like optimal way, I guess, to design that? Like obviously you have coaching and things like that, but yeah, you see my point?
Yeah. So it's there's context, right? Because
Right.
I'll work with if I'm working with somebody that is right after a surgery, right after an injury, and they have 15 degrees of total movement at their elbow. We're not doing rebound reps.
Right.
We're not doing still lowers like we're doing joint.
Right.
We're doing a lot of that type of work.
Mm-hmm.
If I have someone that is on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where like let's say it's me where I've been training for 15 years, or someone else who's been training for a long time and they have a very good sense of uh, themselves, I guess,
Yeah.
like that, then that that requires a different training stimulus, right?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So the the way that I think about programming is I have different clientele, or I have different people, or I have different individuals that are going to enter at different places, anywhere from like super simple where it's after a surgery and we're going high volumes but it's very very simple, to someone that's fully healthy and really wants to get after it. We're training like 11 times a week, and just
Mm-hmm.
there's a good amount of variability within there, because for the most part, because if not, like, I don't know, you could I guess I imagine that I could get to a point where I could do the only one thing, do the same thing every single day, and just like still get gains from it. But I haven't reached that point yet. I like some novelty. I like trying different things. So I think it allows us to.
Yeah.
It just
Yeah.
allows us to
I
discover
agree.
more because it's introducing new stuff. So, for the actual question of like how to program, is I have like a base template that I'll use that has a lot of that variability and variety in it. So like all the things, all the different aspects that I mentioned with the joint moves, impulses, rebound reps, slow lowers, all the different types of stuff, I have that as just like tools that I can use.
Mm-hmm.
Base programming, all that to some greater or lesser degree is going to be cycled through over a period of time. And then basically like off of that, I then make specific adjustments for sport types or for specific athletes or whatever. But it's
Okay.
like I have all these things that I've learned, come up with, whatever, and then that's put in a. It may look like there's a structure to it. I have a structure to it. It's just there's a lot of things that we cycle through.
Right.
Um, but we're still hitting like similar things that you actually get gains. It's not just complete chaos.
Okay.
But like that's the basic of it, is like base template and then make modifications off of that for specific scenarios.
Okay. Makes sense. How like how many hours a day do you train personally?
It'll be anywhere from, I mean, shortest would be like an hour, longest would probably be like 2.5 hours.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I've done instances where it's been like main session for like an hour and a half, secondary session for like an hour, or so like 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm not currently doing that right now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I have done that in the past. And I've also had like just individual training sessions that have been like 4 hours long, 5 hours long, whatever. Like I've done that stuff too, but that's not a consistent
Right.
thing. Because
Right.
a part of it too is like, if my like with my goal being with the training to train me, not necessarily like physical body, but like train me, the thing that animates the physical body, right? That's my goal with the training.
Right.
I can work on that thing in work. I can work on that thing in conversations. I can work on that thing when I'm making food. So it's not like the only time that I train myself is in training. It's like
Right.
that's one aspect, but I want to be that way. Or I want to work on that all the time. Like just be the absolute best version of what it is that I can be.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. I like it. I like it definitely. Do you and like cuz I've seen how you cuz I have the coaches pack, so I've seen how you structure like some of the sessions, and you include like a lot of play in the beginning, sort of to engage and things like that. Do you practice any like acrobatics or things like that?
I mean, I'll do handstands once in a while. It's not like
Yeah.
what specifically do you mean? Like what type of? Give me some examples.
It could be a cartwheel, it could be a flip, like any type. It could be a kick, different springs, yeah, things like that.
Yeah, I haven't gotten much into that. I'm not opposed to it. I just
Right.
haven't. I'll do more so like sprints, jumps, throws.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
that type of stuff is a little bit more of what I gear it towards. I mean, I can do like a handstand, but I just want it
Right.
to be a side effect of how well I can control my body and all that, like through the training. Yeah.
So you see like a handstand more as like a byproduct of training rather than training it itself.
Yeah, I mean, it can be part of training. I'll
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like for myself personally, I haven't I guess just practically in terms of like flips and stuff, I don't. I mean, I don't go to gymnastics gym where I train. I don't have a mat, and I just haven't.
Right.
I just haven't gotten a mat. Like that's
Right.
as simple as it is. If I had one, then
Okay.
I'd probably do some. But then also, I just consider everyone that I work with is online, and so I'm a little bit.
Yeah.
If it's not necessary to learn how, if someone wants to learn how to do a flip, great. But let's say I'm working with a college or professional baseball guy that like, uh, I don't know, a flip isn't
Yeah. It's
risk to
not
reward rate. I'm
necessary.
like, nah. I'm like, nah.
Right.
Let's
Yeah.
not. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a fun way to train. I think in a way too, it's sort of it's like because what you're seeking for too, like as what then life as an athlete, whatever, is just full expression of your being, right? So I just see that as sort of a way to express movement without, any sort of like team setting or sports setting or anything like that. Sort of just free flow.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I like that. It's similar
yeah.
to the way that I view my training. Like that's the way that that's one way that I work on just like what can I do, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Makes sense. Um. Yeah. I also wanted to ask because I seen you post that you sort of started making posts without really the goal of turning it into a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you think looking back, like, obviously it worked out how it was supposed to. Let's say you right now, if you were able to go back to Brady when you first started posting, like, is there anything you would have done differently? If, like, and you knew you had the intention of creating a business out of it, what would you have done differently?
What would I have done differently?
Yeah. Or if anything. I don't know.
Uh, I don't nothing about the actual content. I
Mhm.
would put it. I would put it up on more platforms earlier. As far as like pure like business wise, I'd put it up. So I put it up on Instagram. I put it up more up on YouTube earlier. I put more up on TikTok earlier. I put more up on maybe Twitter, like that type of stuff. But the actual way that I create the
Okay.
content, like the way that I create the content, no, like I think that's the way that I'll always create the content. It's generated from what I'm doing, and then it's just like me talking
Yeah.
about it, and that's the way that I do it because that's what makes sense and what feels right for me.
Yeah, no, I like it. It definitely has an authentic feel to it, bro. It
Yeah.
has, yeah, for sure. It's raw. I like the sermons in the comments too. Preach sometimes.
The
Yeah.
what?
Like the sermons in the comments.
Yeah, I don't know.
They
I
just
don't pay
drop,
too
just
close of
dropping,
attention.
just dropping game. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't pay too close of attention to the comments because there's a lot of I don't know. You can go down a rabbit hole with comments.
yeah,
So
yeah, for
I'm kind of
sure.
like I'm gonna produce what I'm producing and let's roll. Because for me, that's really the only way that I want to create a business is because then I get people in the business that actually that I resonate with me, and then it just takes down this barrier of like, hey, I'm gonna try to convince you to get in the business. Like, no, I'm not. This is
Right.
this is what I do. This is what I
You
do.
already know. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to do it or you don't. If you do, let's roll. If you don't, great. You
Yeah.
know? Yeah.
Yeah. It makes sense, man. Is there um is there any like type of stimulus you try to invoke daily, like upon your in training or anything like that?
Stimulus I try to do daily.
Or very, very often, like sprinting or I don't know, a meditation or anything of the sort.
No, I don't do meditation stuff.
Yeah.
A stimulus that I put in. I mean, I will. This is also like as far as training goes. So training, like I talked about earlier, I do have a certain cycle of things that I in my base program I go through. So we're gonna sprint, we're gonna jump every week if you're healthy. Pretty much every week we're gonna do that. We're gonna lift heavy every week. We're gonna attack like hips, shoulders, spine, elbows, knees, ankles every week. We're gonna do all that different type of stuff in some different way every single week.
Hmm.
So that's definitely in there. As far as like outside of training, just kind of like keep me like centered and on what I'm going towards. Like I'll write out at least once a day, sometimes twice a day, or on most days I will write out like what is that? What am I doing? Like
Mm.
if I kind of just like look at what I'm actually, I don't know, like what's real and what's true and what's honest to me. I'm gonna write
Just
that
pen
out.
to paper.
Yeah, pencil paper, and it's, I don't even, I'm not trying to write the same thing every day. It's just like, what is it right now to keep me going through, like, just help me stay real with myself.
Yeah,
You
I
know?
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Cool, man.
Sweet.
Thanks, bro. Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good talking, man.
Yeah, bro. I appreciate it. Keep doing your thing, bro. It's very, very inspirational for sure.
Thank you.
Hope to talk soon, bro.
Sounds good. All right, man.
Take care. Peace.
Deuces.